came in and I saw that my back door had been broken in, so I went to the back and I could see footsteps in the snow, so I ran up to my room to see if my roommate was okay. I have two roommates.
Okay.
One of them's dead, and the other one is in her room and she's still alive and she needs help, but I ran because I didn't know if he was still in the house.
Police would be called into a shocking situation, with a woman claiming a friend was dead and the perpetrator may still be inside. Officers would then have to face the reality that the killer may still be inside, waiting in ambush.
Belgrade Police!
Police department!
Anybody inside, come out! How many people are inside? We're making entry. How many people?
I am the police!
I'm the police, right here.
Where are you?
I'm right here. Can you see me?
Where are you?
I'm right here.
Where?
What happened to you? Where are you bleeding from?
I'm not bleeding.
Okay, well, how do you have blood all over you?
Do I?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know why I do.
I'm right here. Can you see me?
No,
Can you see anything?
no,
No?
no.
Okay.
This terrifying ordeal would be the start of one of the most chilling cases these officers ever experienced. Before revealing the details of this case, we would like to send our thoughts and condolences to the family and loved ones of Lauren DeWise. January 7, 2018. A terrifying 911 call would come in at 9:25 a.m. from a neighbor describing a shooting that had taken place.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
I live at that's the next door neighbor. She just came over in barracks and said somebody shot her roommate.
Okay. Did it just happen?
Yeah, she said it just happened. She needs an ambulance in place. So the roommate Ashley is the one that's still alive.
She is still alive?
She said she is, yes.
Okay, tell her to take a deep breath, okay? I'm going to ask you some questions. Is Ashley bleeding seriously?
Was she bleeding seriously? Yes, she said yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Do we know if Ashley's completely alert?
No, I don't believe so. I mean, she just saw it and she just ran.
Okay.
Police would race to the scene on Idaho Street, where a frantic woman was visible. This woman would be Audria Butler, and she had a harrowing tale to tell police. Officers had no other option than to make entry into the house, with one victim still potentially alive.
What's going on?
I stayed with friends last night, and I just came in and I saw that my back door had been broken in, so I went to the back and I could see footsteps in the snow, so I ran up to my room to see if my roommate was okay. I have two roommates.
Okay.
One of them's dead, and the other one is in her room and she's still alive and she needs help, but I ran because I didn't know if he was still in the house.
Okay, so you don't know if there's somebody else in the house?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Lauren looks like she's been in a while, but Ashley's asked me for help and I ran.
Okay. Is this door open?
Yes.
So we have two people upstairs. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Help, Ashley.
She said this is open. I didn't see any footprints in the snow leading up here. So, you ready?
Yep. Belgrade Police!
Police department!
Anybody inside, come out!
Going this way. Bye.
I got stairwell.
Police!
Sergeant 326.
Kitchen clear.
All right.
Garage.
Okay. Five nine three 206. Where are you at? We're making entry right now. How many people are inside? We're making entry. How many people?
Garage clear. Up the stairs. We're coming.
Belgrade Police, show me your hands. You got yours on the left and right.
Okay.
One down.
We've got cold and touch.
Okay. Lividity. Okay. All right, let's back up. Police!
Hey! I'm in here!
Hello? Police?
Please don't shoot me!
Who shot you?
No, please don't shoot!
I'm not gonna shoot you, ma'am.
My name's Ashley!
Ashley, what's going on? Who shot you?
Nobody!
Oh, what happened?
I don't know! Please come here!
Who did?
I am the police!
I'm the police, right here.
Where are you?
I'm right here. Can you see me?
Where are you?
I'm right here.
Where?
Can you tell me what happened?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know, Ashley? Okay,
No.
my name's Officer Robinson, okay?
What's your name?
My name's Officer Robinson.
Are you lying to me?
No. What happened to you? Where are you bleeding from?
I'm not bleeding.
Okay, well, how do you have blood all over you?
Do I?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know why I do. Show me your face then.
I'm right here. Can you see me?
No,
Can you see anything?
no,
No?
no.
Okay.
Please help me.
We're gonna help you, okay?
Please help me.
We've got the medical people coming. Where do you hurt?
I don't hurt anywhere.
You don't hurt anywhere?
No.
Grab around the front.
Yeah, we got a blanket.
Ashley, we're gonna pick you up and we're gonna carry you down to the paramedics, okay?
What are you doing, sir?
We're gonna pick you up and carry you.
Carrying me there. Where are you carrying
We're coming down.
Yeah, as far as I can get the door. I'm gonna go out to the, I don't want them to pass the sidewalk right here. Who's the most senior paramedic?
Ashley would be found in a critical condition with several gunshot wounds, including one to the back of her head, another in her carotid artery, and also on her right arm. It was miraculous that given the injury she had sustained, she was conscious and still able to talk to police. Her roommate Lauren, however, was not so lucky and would be found deceased at the scene. Detectives were now tasked with finding out who committed this heinous crime and why. There appeared to be no items taken from the house, so robbery was ruled out as a possible motive. Investigators would start taking a look at the evidence and would begin at the rear of the property, where footprints were visible in the snow. Bloody footprints would be observed leading from the east side of the house, leading to the back door. Luckily, the weather had been cold enough that it had preserved the footprints in great detail, and casts were taken to be processed at the crime lab. Those footprints would lead to a broken rear door where it's believed the intruder had gained entry into the home. In Lauren's room, 4 shell casings were found, with a further 5 casings located in Ashley's room, which were later found to have come from a .22 caliber handgun. Authorities were now grappling with the idea that one of these women may have been a target, but which one and for what reason? As detectives continued to work the confusing crime scene, they would receive a call from the hospital. Ashley was now out of critical condition and was able to talk to authorities. This could be the break they were looking for, with detectives hoping that she may be able to identify the killer.
So obviously, you know, we're here to talk to you.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're gonna have some questions, but mostly we just want to hear what you have to say.
Okay.
Just starting out,
Yes.
and I know this is kind of a tough question, but can you tell me, do you remember anything at all?
When I got shot?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
I remember waking up in the hospital. I don't really remember actually waking up in the hospital. I remember kind of doing the I love you sign to my brother when I was, obviously laying in the hospital bed. But no, I do not remember being shot at all. Or however many times they shot me. I think they got me in the shoulder, and I think in the elbow too. Obviously the head.
Well, yeah, you're a lucky gal, but everything that I've heard so far is, you're a fighter.
It's a miracle I'm alive. I thank God every day.
Unfortunately, Ashley had no memory of the incidents. Police would now ask her about the night before the attack to see if anything would stand out as being odd or unusual.
So Saturday, this would have been before I got shot, obviously, the day before I got shot. We went to a place in Livingston. It was a hotel.
And you said Ralph drove you home?
Yes, he did.
Can you tell me, do you remember anything from the drive home?
I don't remember a whole lot, no. Maybe if you ask me a more specific question, I might be able to answer. I don't know.
Do you remember any conversations that you guys were having?
Not really specifically, no.
Going from when Ralph dropped you off, what's the last thing you remember that night?
Really, the last thing I remember is I gave him a kiss goodnight and in the car, and he was like, "Okay, I'll watch you go and get inside," and I was like, "Of course you will." So then I went inside, I shut the door, obviously, and really from there on, I don't remember too much.
The Ralph that investigators were referring to was Ralph Dennis, Ashley's boyfriend. Since he had been the last known person at the house, he would quickly become the prime suspect. He would be tracked down and brought in for an interview to try and prove his whereabouts on the night of the crime. Police would ask Ralph for his phone so they could download the data on it to try and track his movements on the night Lauren was killed. Letting police do a phone dump is not something typically a guilty person would do. However, judgment would be held until the results of the phone data could be analyzed. Ralph would also provide a DNA sample to law enforcement. After the data had been cleared, and with no fingerprints or DNA evidence linking Ralph to the involvement of the crime, investigators had hit another dead end. Having looked into Ashley's situation before the crime, they would now begin to look into Lauren. 35-year-old Lauren DeWise was married to 47-year-old Joseph DeWise. The couple had 3 children together, 2 that Joseph had from a previous relationship, and a 4-year-old that they had together. Lauren and Joseph had been going through a bitter divorce, however, which led to Lauren to move into her friend's house only 2 months prior to her death. Friends of Lauren would tell detectives that she had chosen to break up with Joseph because he was abusive. To their horror, she would often show up to coffee with her friends sporting bruises and other marks. Lauren had also made her friends aware that he had made threats against her. This would give police a solid suspect and a solid motive for the killing. Was this a jilted lover out for revenge, or just pure coincidence? Given that Joseph could be armed and dangerous, it was decided that a high-risk traffic stop would be performed to bring him in for questioning.
Well, let's go. Door. Keep your hands up. Okay, go ahead and get out. This is not time to think. Get out. Hands up.
Hands up. Walk over here. Turn around. Look away from me. Walk backwards. Keep coming. Keep coming. Stop. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Do not move. Do you understand me? Take him to the back of my car. All right.
He would now be taken to the police station for questioning about the despicable crime that had taken place less than 12 hours ago.
So the reason that I wanted to talk to you is there was some issues that happened over at Lauren's house this morning, and I just kind of wanted to touch base with you to see if you were over there at all, if kind of where you were this morning, that kind of thing. Well, someone broke into the back door of her place, and so we're trying to get all of the stuff together, and from what I understand, you guys were separated and working on a divorce, and that's kind of where we're at.
Sure, right?
Well, not really. She isn't. Well, the person that came in ended up shooting her. So
she's dead?
Yeah. So
oh my god.
So that's why we're talking to you, because you guys are going through a divorce, and from what I understand, and we need to kind of figure out what's going on. So
So, absolutely anything that you can tell us that might give us a little clarity would be helpful for both of us.
This is news to me. I don't know anything about it.
Complete news, complete surprise.
They told me when they picked me up they're investigating a homicide. I did not think there's some weird stuff's been happening since I've been at Bozeman. So I'm like, geez,
Yeah.
Well, let me just say right off the bat, I understand Lauren, regardless of your relational issues. I understand.
I love her.
Lauren's very important to you. And I'm so sorry that you're going through this right now.
Joseph would play the part of a concerned husband, but for investigators, they had to figure out if this was real or just an act. They would begin to question Joseph on his relationship with Lauren.
Can you tell me a little bit about how the separation has been going?
It depends on who you ask. Like, for her, it's fine. For me, it's been really tough.
I want to know from you.
I've had trouble dealing with it,
Can you, let's just start with a basic timeline. So what about last evening, last night, as detailed as you can, say from the end of dinner time? Tell me about what you did.
I fell asleep again. I'm not sure how long I slept.
What time do you think you went to bed?
Gosh, it was late. Actually, it did go out. I went and got a 6-pack of beer around midnight at Town Hall. Probably went to bed around 2.
And that was about midnight? You got a 6-pack of beer, right?
Yep.
Joseph had just given a time and location he was at around midnight, claiming he was with his son Joe at the time getting a 6-pack of beer. Detectives could now go down to the store and check the CCTV to match his version of events. Joseph would also provide his phone to police so they could do a phone dump on it as well. Since he had claimed he was with his son Joe the previous night, they would decide to bring him in and question him also to see if their stories lined up.
Just so you understand who I am. My name's Jeremy Kopp. I'm the detective sergeant for the sheriff's office. Okay? Obviously, you know what happened to Dad. Given that, then I need to be able to sit down and be able to talk to you. Right? How was your relationship with her?
We were close.
Yeah.
She was like my mom, but she wasn't my mom. But she was pretty much like my mom.
Let's go to Saturday. And just walk me through Saturday.
Okay. Day before Sunday. So Saturday, let's see, starting in the morning. I got up around maybe 12-ish, around 12.
Joe would go over the day's events and go into great detail, with his story appearing to match his father's. The interviewing officer would now move on to the night in question.
Why'd you go?
I just flew with him, just because.
Yeah. Excuse me. I mean, do you hang with your dad quite a bit? Yeah. You were just pretty tight?
Yeah. So we just...
Fair enough to say.
Just whatever we do. Yeah.
Is it just you and Dad then going on the beer run? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you don't recall hearing any doors or anything open when you go to bed?
Right. Everything's quiet.
Okay. So it's important that you and I, as we kind of work through the details, that we're completely truthful with each other.
Right.
Okay. That's pretty important.
Right.
What do you think happened?
She was in her home sleeping, and as I know from what my dad told me, body, it could have been drugs or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it could be drugs. I don't know.
Who do you think could do something like that?
I don't know.
No guesses.
No guesses. I don't really know, but.
Yeah.
And it couldn't be my dad. He was.
Police would gain the security footage from the liquor store, which would exactly match the time Joseph had claimed in his interview. Since Joseph and Joe's stories matched perfectly, and no evidence was found from the phone dump on Joseph's phone, he was cleared as a suspect. Investigators would now be back at square one with no suspects or leads as to who committed this crime. As they would scratch their heads, the crime lab would contact them and advise them that the footprints at the scene of the crime were not just of one person, but two. A larger footprint was observed, and also a smaller footprint, possibly that of a child. Immediately, thoughts began to rush back to officers of Joseph and Joe, who were out that night together. The previous day they had spoken to Joe, but they would bring him in again without his father's knowledge to see if they could extract any more information.
So yesterday, you and I kind of talked about the timeline and what everybody had done on Saturday, and we talked about that kind of in detail going into Sunday morning, the 7th, right? Okay. So, let's start with this.
Interviewing Detective Jeremy Coop would question Joe, who would stick to his original story. The detective now began to get closer to Joe and lend support to him in order for him to tell the truth, and the truth would eventually come out.
That's pretty accurate to what you told me yesterday. Which is unfortunate because I don't think that's actually what happened. And I was hoping that today you and I could break through that and we could talk about what actually happened. Because if I can't get you to be honest with me, I can't help you. And I don't believe that you're being completely truthful with me. And I don't know exactly why. But I'm not willing to give up on you. I think that we can get through it. Okay? I know that this is really hard for you to sit here. I know it. I can see the weight on you. And the only way I can help is if you and I are honest with each other. I can't help. I can't do anything if you and I aren't honest with each other in here. Okay?
Please, son, please. Okay.
Was it just your dad?
Come on, son.
Can you do it, Beth? And then what did he tell you?
I didn't think. Love you, dear Dad.
You knew what he was going to do.
I did not stop. I know that I can't do that. I'm going to lose you again. You didn't tell me. You didn't tell me to stop. I would have totally stopped. Was it you or him? Tell me. Was it?
Joyce. I was afraid for my sisters.
I know you were.
I didn't have a choice. I had to.
And then how far did you go back? How far did you go in the house? Could you see the stairs? Could you see the stairs?
Yeah.
Could you hear him?
Yes.
What'd you hear?
What the hell is wrong with you? He said, come. Kim, come.
Father, please.
The detective would recount this event, which took an emotional toll on him as well.
When he finally got to that point of releasing and he whispered the answer the first time. Just being with him in that moment. Because it was hard.
Joe had said that his father had come to him that night and told him to get ready as they were going out. He asked his father where, but he would refuse to tell him. Joseph would also tell Joe to leave his phone on his bed, which he found to be very strange, as most teenage kids are rarely separated from their phones. The father and son would start traveling in a car, and before long, it struck Joe that they appeared to be heading in the same direction of his stepmom Lauren's house. His fear would continue to heighten as his father would pull into her street and park a few houses down. As Joe would look over at his father, he would observe him pulling out a small handgun while handing him a pair of gloves and a mask to wear. Reluctantly, he would wear the equipment, while his father would put his own mask and gloves on. The two would sneak around to the back of the property, where Joe would kick in the rear door. Moving swiftly, he would gain entry to Ashley's room, where he would unload a volley of bullets. Listening from downstairs, Joe could only imagine the horror as the gunshots rang out. Joseph would move his way to the next bedroom, where he would discover Lauren. Joe would hear a loud gasp from his stepmom before the room would fall silent after another series of shots. Father and son would run out of the property, hop into the car, and race to a nearby liquor store to buy a 6-pack of beer. Returning home shortly after, Joseph would burn the boots he was wearing at the time of the murder. He would instruct his son to dump the ammunition that could link them to the crime in a nearby lake. When his son returned around 1 a.m., he would start coaching him on what to say when police started questioning him, advising him that if he did as he was told, everything would be okay. Fearing for his life and that of his sisters, the young teen would go along with his father's sickening plan. Authorities would dig deeper into Joseph's phone data and social media accounts. This post from his Facebook account, where he went by the name Paul DeWise, would give an insight into the hatred he seemed to possess for his wife. Along with this, a disturbing piece of audio was obtained, which showed how abusive Joseph was to his fearful wife.
You've always told me that, Mom. That's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to express myself now.
You're such a lying piece.
Are you serious?
What are you doing? So tired of you living like this innocent fate. Tell him Karina. I've done everything for you. I've given up everything for you. And the only thing you ever cry about, she cried. That's it. And you know what? I'm gonna. That's what's gonna happen.
A search warrant was carried out on Joseph's home, which would turn up shell casings that matched those found at the scene of the murder. Further ballistic testing would confirm that this was the weapon used in the callous murder of Lauren. Joseph DeWise would be arrested and a trial would be set so he could face justice for his actions. Many people would give statements throughout the trial, painting Joseph as a deceptive and manipulative individual.
You tried to kill my sister. You did a pretty darn good job of trying to do it. Unless God intervened, she would be dead. She was on the ground for, I believe, almost 9 hours, wondering if she was gonna die. What do you think that felt like?
Even with the weight of the evidence, the testimony of the victims, his own son's statement, and the audio recordings of Joseph threatening to kill Lauren, he would still take the stand in his own defense and claim his innocence.
I have been in jail for 22 months waiting for an opportunity to explain to a jury that I'm innocent. I never threatened my wife in any way like that. I'm not that kind of a person. I respect and I love her strength, her individuality. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence out there, all right? But you know what? If a lot of you took a real good look at your life and you thought about things that you did and something bad happened, you could be in the same boat I'm in. The state wants to put so much pressure on me that I would just crack and take the blame for it so that I could get out of the horrible situation I was in. I have been falsely accused here. I didn't do it. And I don't deserve to go to prison. And what you've done is wrong. Okay? That is the truth.
The jury didn't buy his claims, however, and his sentence would be handed down.
By the above-named defendant, Joseph Paul DeWise, count 1, to the charge of deliberate homicide of Lauren DeWise, guilty. Guilty. To the allegation that in committing the above offense, the defendant Joseph Paul DeWise used a firearm, unanimously find, by proof beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant Joseph Paul DeWise did use a firearm.
Guilty on second.
Count 2. To the charge of attempt to commit deliberate homicide of Ashley Von Hemert. Dan Hemert. Guilty. To the allegation that in committing the above offense, the defendant Joseph Paul DeWise used a firearm, we unanimously find, by proof beyond a reasonable doubt, that the defendant Joseph Paul DeWise did use a firearm. Dated December 10th, 2019, by Jordan.
His sentence would be 220 years for the homicide of Lauren and the attempted homicide of Ashley. This father of 3, in a murderous rage, would change the lives of many people on that fateful night. Not only did he subject his son to that torture, but his 2 other children will now grow up without any parents, all because of a selfish need for attention from someone that did not love him anymore and was fed up with his abuse. Ashley will never escape the effects of that night, as she still struggles physically and emotionally from the injury she suffered. If you've been fascinated by this case, consider subscribing so you don't miss our next captivating deep dive into true crime. Channel memberships are also available by hitting the join button. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.